Freddy Key was one of the best high school quarterback prospects the nation has ever seen. After leading his team to 4 state championships, he would quickly head over to Alabama and take the starting quarterback role after Bryce Young left. He would then lead the team to a perfect season and win the college football playoffs in only his sophomore season. But Freddy wasn't done yet. With only 1 year left of eligibility, he had only 2 more goals on his mind: become a team legend at Alabama and finally win the Heisman Trophy that he keeps on getting snubbed for. Despite having a perfect season last year, Freddy Key was left off the preseason Heisman watch alongside Alabama falling to number 4 on the polls to start the year. Taking on a ranked opponent in our first game of the season, Freddy would start off nicely, hitting his tight end over the middle of the field and letting him do the rest as he ran for 30+ yards. The big plays would continue as Freddy Key would scramble out the pocket and hit his tight end once again. That would get us in striking distance where our running back would later punch it in and we would kick the extra point to take an early 7-point lead. Freddy had everything going his way this game as he would find wide receivers naked on every side of the field and also get his legs activated early in this one as he would scramble on a broken screenplay and pick up multiple yards after juking out defenders. Still looking for our first touchdown of the season, Freddy would step up in the pocket and start to scramble and then find a wide receiver wide open, and we are already feeling ourselves. With our defense already playing amazing, Freddy Key was not comfortable with only a 14-point lead as he wanted to continue the bleeding as he would dominate on the ground and also in the air all game long as he would juke out multiple defenders yet once again. After Jahmyr Gibbs left in the draft a couple years ago, we got a brand new running back in Jamarian Miller, and we were trying to feed him as well as we would pitch the ball to him and he would have his first touchdown of the season as well. The Spartans would get their first score on their board and cut the lead down to only 14 points, but leaving Freddy Key with over 30 seconds of time remaining before the half ends, he was going to do a miracle out here on the field, breaking the pocket and chucking the ball on up, finding a wide open wide receiver. We're now down on the 1-yard line. As a team, we're still looking for our 4th touchdown of the half, and now being on the 1-yard line, it's going to be very easy to do so as we pump fake 2 times and find our tight end wide open. We would mainly chew out the clock in the second half of this game as we had a huge lead heading into halftime, and Freddy Key would actually end up winning player of the game, ending with 3 total touchdowns. In week number 2, we would head over to Akron and take them out and win by over 30, but this would lead to a big game against a rival in the Ole Miss Rebels. Freddy Key would start this game off amazingly as he would take a read option and juke out a cornerback, and then he was off to the races with only 1 defender to beat, and our wide receiver would not pick up the block and we'd get pushed out around the 15-yard line. Luckily, we'd get the same play call but to the other side, and Freddy Key would have a wide open touchdown chance, and we are already on the board with 7 points. We wouldn't receive our second possession until the second quarter, and we're trying to get some more points on this board, but looking at this next play action play, Freddy Key is going to get sacked in the backfield, and he is not going to get up right away as he is holding his ribcage, and it looks like he has a severe injury. We would return back to the game in the third quarter with our team actually putting up 7 points while we were gone, and we are looking to double that on up and get at least 1 more touchdown on the board. Feeling a little bit paranoid running another play action after getting injured earlier in the game, Freddy Key would almost get sacked once again, but barely get the ball off, and we had one of our craziest touchdowns of the season. We would be able to hold off Ole Miss's run as they tried to come back, but we could not get too happy after 3 wins as we would be taking on a red-hot Wisconsin team in the snow. This game would start off terribly for Freddy Key as he would throw up the ball and almost get intercepted, and then on a 3rd and 10, whip it to his wide receiver in the screen, and it looks like we are already punting. Looking to bounce back after a horrible start to this game, Freddy Key is going to have a great throw on the first play of the second possession, and we're going to scramble on the next one, trying to get some big yardage on the ground, and we're going to do so, getting multiple blocks from our wide receivers, and we're going to find ourselves already in the red zone. Looking to now tie this game on up at 7 apiece, we're going to hit a wide receiver over the middle, and that would get us in great field position to do a read option and score our first touchdown of the game. Our defense would step up and get us the ball around the 50-yard line, but Freddy Key would step all the way back in the pocket and take a negative 17-yard sack. Trying to make up for all the yards he just lost on the sack, Freddy Key's going to scramble and throw across his body and throw his first interception of the season, and this game is not looking good so far. Wisconsin would score off the turnover, and they now have a 7-point lead, and with them getting the ball at halftime, we have to score a touchdown on this drive. Although there was a lot of snow on the field, Freddy Key still felt like he was the most nimble player on the field as he was trying to show off his scrambling ability. But in a game that we were starting to heat up in, Freddy Key would end up taking a sack right there and then another one on back-to-back plays that would end up leading to us having to settle for 3 points before half. Felt like the momentum was on our side now in the game, and in the third quarter, Freddy Key is going to hit a strike over the middle, and we all of a sudden have the lead. This game was slowly turning into a shootout as Wisconsin would put another touchdown on the board, but Freddy Key would have one of his biggest boneheaded mistakes yet as he would run out of bounds before throwing it away. Now looking for about anything on a 3rd and 19, Freddy Key would be taking his 4th sack of the game, and it looks like we have to punt. After punting, our defense would get a turnover and give us great field position to potentially take the lead late in this game. Now with only 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, Freddy knew he had to score on this drive, and he would do so on a scramble, supermaning into the end zone, and all of a sudden we have the lead once again. We would end up getting a stop, and all we have to do is take away their timeouts and chew the rest of the clock on out, and we would hand the ball over to our running back, who would then get us into a deep 3rd and 12, but Freddy Key would force it over the middle and give them the ball back. Now with Wisconsin leading, we do have still a lot of time on the clock to go ahead and score, but our tight end would get hit sticked after catching the ball and fumble the rock away, and we could not get another stop as we would get our first loss in over 2 years at Alabama. After losing to Wisconsin, Alabama would fall all the way down to number 9, and we would be taking on Texas A&M, where Freddy Key is actually going to start off very hot with a huge touchdown strike in the first quarter. This game was all offense because it felt like every time we threw the ball that it was going into the end zone, as we found Bond wide open on the sideline, and he did the rest, and we already had 2 on the board. There has been so much scoring in this game as Texas A&M is scoring on every offensive drive, already having 21 points. We're looking to tie it up, and we're going to do so on a counter run play with our running back, and this game already has 42 points combined. And once again, Texas A&M would put another touchdown on the board, but Freddy Key is coming on right back as he would find Ferguson down the seam to tie this game on up at 28 apiece. Texas A&M would kick a field goal right before half and then score when they got the ball after half, so now they are leading by 10 points. We need to do something quick on offense. We are trying to get back into that groove we had in the first half of this game, and we're going to find Ferguson all the way inside of the seam once again, and that would put us in prime field position for Freddy Key to make a scrambling touchdown and cut this lead down to only 3. Our defense would actually get a huge stop and give us the ball on the 12-yard line, and we would have prime field position to go ahead and take this lead late in the fourth quarter, and we would do so finding a slant in the front of the end zone. On our next drive, with Alabama still leading by 4 points, Freddy Key's actually going to find a broken coverage where we have a wide receiver wide open, and we are stacking now a 2-possession lead. With both teams scoring at will, we're once again only leading by 3 points, but Freddy Key, every time he throws the ball, it's a touchdown, and we find a new wide receiver and actually our backup tight end. That last touchdown throw would actually beat the record that was held by Tua for the most touchdowns thrown in a game by an Alabama quarterback. With Texas A&M putting up a good fight, Alabama and the Freddy Key offense could just not go down in this one as we finished with our best game ever in our collegiate career. Fast forwarding to the end of the season, Alabama would remain undefeated after losing to Wisconsin, and we would be matching up with Georgia in the SEC championship, but also Freddy Key has a lot on the line as he is so close to winning the Heisman. He has to have a great last game. This is the biggest must-win of Freddy Key's career besides the last championship he played in, because he knows if he loses this one, he would be missing out on the college football championship game. After hitting the big throw on the run, Freddy Key would end up hitting a slant across the middle that would set up a great chance for him to go ahead and scramble on the next play and find his way all the way to the end zone for a wide open touchdown to open this game off. Freddy's legs would continue to dominate even on the second possession of this game as he would find himself scrambling wide open in the field and then also getting across the 50-yard line, almost spinning and fumbling. Freddy is not messing around this game. He wants to make a second run at the championship so bad as he would make another beautiful throw on the sideline that would later lead to a touchdown strike, and we already had a 2-possession lead. Georgia would end up scoring their first touchdown of the game, but Freddy Key wanted a minimum of 3 points, but he was looking for something different on his throws. He would find Ferguson in the seam wide open, and that would get us inside the 5-yard line. After the huge throw, we're just going to take a simple read option and hand it off to our running back and take another 2-possession lead heading into halftime. Georgia was not folding as they would continue to end up scoring, but Freddy Key on a scramble would end up falling down awkwardly and he would end up getting hurt once again, and we have no clue on the timetable of his return. He wouldn't return back to the game until the fourth quarter where we had a huge lead because Jalen Milroe was absolutely balling and all we had to do was hand off the ball and just chew this clock on out. Although we played half the game, we ended up winning the SEC championship, and that means we got a ticket to the college football playoffs, and this could be the potential second one that Freddy Key could win in his career. All the good news was piling up for Freddy as he would receive his first ever Heisman as well in college, despite having a perfect season, and despite being amazing in his previous years. He finally would win it in his senior season, and that would also lead to the college football championship, where we would be playing the team that actually was the only team that beat us in the last 2 years. With our defense getting a stop early, Freddy Key is looking for a big play on his first throwing play of the game, and he would get undercut by the corner, and we already have a turnover super early. With our defense stifling the Wisconsin Badgers offense, holding them to 0 points in 2 possessions, Freddy Key would finally have a chance once again, but he is going to fumble on the next play as well, and he already has 2 turnovers. Defense once again would come away with a W, only holding them to 3 points, but Freddy Key would now have his 3rd turnover, 3 turnovers in 4 total plays. This is looking like a disastrous kind of championship game for Freddy. Now trailing by 10 points in Wisconsin, this is looking like the first time we played them earlier in the season. We need to get some points up on the board, and Freddy Key is starting to heat up, hitting multiple wide receivers over the middle. We really couldn't do much here in the end zone as we had tight ends dropping the ball, and we also could not move the ball at all in the running game, so we had to end up settling for 3, but at least we have some points on the board. The Badgers offense would score another touchdown, and we are now trailing by 14 points, and Freddy Key is panicking in the backfield, and we would lose a huge 17 yards on a sack. Freddy's never had his back to the wall like this ever in his collegiate career, so he has no clue what to do, and he's going to make a panic throw over the middle, and with 20 seconds remaining in the first half, this means the Wisconsin Badgers can score once again. We are getting 21 skunked in the second half of the college football championship, but Freddy Key knew this game was not over yet, as he would find a wide receiver wide open from a bad coverage defense, and we somehow cut this lead down to 14 again. The second half of this game, Freddy Key started to settle on in and find players wide open as he would have another touchdown, and this is all of a sudden a 7-point game. With our defense stringing along a couple stops, we have a chance late in the fourth quarter to tie this game on up at 24 apiece, and Freddy Key is taking it into his own hands, breaking multiple tackles and getting himself inside the 25. And on the very next play, Freddy Key would find his tight end in the back of the end zone to tie this game on up at 24 apiece. All we need now is our defense to get one more stop. And we have very good news. The Alabama defense would end up stopping Wisconsin once again, and Freddy Key's going to have around 1 minute and 20 seconds to work with 3 timeouts to win this game. Although we had great field position already, Freddy Key wanted to put 7 points on the board because they knew this Wisconsin offense was almost unstoppable when they're on fire, and we would find Pollard in the end zone to get a 7-point lead late in this game. We ended up coming back from a 21-point deficit, and Freddy Key now has his second college football championship alongside a Heisman. This looks like one of the best careers ever in college football, and arguably the best Alabama quarterback ever. After 4 years at Alabama, he would end his career off with 15,000 passing yards, 155 passing touchdowns, and only 45 total interceptions. Although we did not end up becoming a team legend at Alabama, we still proved ourselves our worth and won 2 college championships for this program. If you enjoy RTG content and you like Freddy Key, make sure to hit that like and hit that subscribe if you made it this far in the video.